because we had such weather problems and shit. So there we are, shooting on the stage. We did our master, like from the front of the car, 3-shot through the windshield and shit. Next, we're gonna go into the coverage. So I'm like, all right, I go over to Bruce. He's still sitting in the car, going down to the window. I was like, boss, we're gonna go into coverage now. We're gonna go into the tight stuff and shit, kind of do one of these on you. And he goes, okay, what lens? And I go, the one that does one of these. He's like, yeah, but what number? And I was like, oh, what number lens? Hold on. Hey, Dave. Dave is my DP. Dave, yeah. I go, what lens? Dave goes, show me your hands. And I go, and he goes, 50. And I go, 50, boss, 50. I live in a world where that's okay, you know what I'm saying? I live in a world where Ben's like, what lens you got on there? And I'm just like, oh, and he's like, look who I'm asking, Dave, what lens you got on there? You know? So it was weird, you know, suddenly I'm telling this dude, I just expected the same reaction and shit. Motherfucker was looking at me, actually had to look away to then fucking give me the turn again. What did you just ask Dave? And I was like, oh, you wanted me to find out the lens. He's going, well, why did you ask Dave? I was like, because Dave's the DP. And he's like, but you don't know the lens? I was like, no, man, that's Dave's job. He's like, you don't know the lens? And I was like, well, that one, no. And he's like, well, what lenses do you know? And I was like, well, I mean, you know, the fucking ones that Dave keeps by the camera. I know not to trip on him, that much I know. Dave always says, get the fuck away, kid. And he's like, you don't know your lenses? And I was just like, well, no, not really. And he's going, oh my, come here, Kevin, come here. And I leaned down and talked to him in the window. I was like, yeah, boss. He goes, don't ever fucking tell anybody in this business that you don't know your fucking lenses. I said, why? He goes, because you're a fucking director, man. You got 2 jobs and knowing the lenses is one of them. Jesus Christ, I said, what lens you go, Dave, what lens you go like this? And I was like, that's how it works. I mean, I don't know the lenses, basically. I just go like this, and Dave gives me a lens based on how far apart my hands are. Go back to the chair, Kevin. I was like, all right, boss. But he liked me. See, I mean, I know he liked me. I mean, we worked together all the time on Live Free or Die Hard, but even though there were times on the set where I was like, wow, I feel like a real dumb-cough. This dude I know really fucking liked me. He just wouldn't give it up in the way that everybody else would. Look, I had never worked with a man of that caliber before. Like, I have never worked with a movie star before. Please don't tell Ben Affleck I said that. And working with a movie star, it's its own negotiation. You have to figure out, you know, what they're looking for, what they want out of this, and how, you know, it fits in the grand scheme of their things and whatnot. So, you know, it would work itself out and shit, but it did make me a little nervous to ever ask him for things. You know, I didn't want to go over and be like, hey man, can you do this? I would never. At that point, by the end of week 1, I stopped going like, hey man, put the dick in your mouth. Because I'd go over and be like, hey man, then I'd march back to the fucking monitor with a dick in my ass. Just sit down next to Dave, he's like, you didn't want to put the dick in his mouth. I'm like, no. But there was one moment where we were shooting whole movie. I'm trying to get this, I'm a huge moonlighting fan. This is why I love Bruce Willis. 26 years ago, I used to lay on the couch in my parents' house where I grew up, 21 Jackson Street. My father went to work, mom would watch whatever was on ABC at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock moonlighting began. And we would just sit there and watch moonlighting, and she loved Sybil Shepherd, and I loved Bruce Willis and shit. Never in a million years did I imagine I would be working with Bruce Willis one day. It's a dream fucking come true and shit. But it all goes back to that. A lot of people like Die Hard, and of course we all love him in Die Hard. He is John McClane. But to me, he'll always be David Addison. Whole movie I'm making, I'm like, fuck, I don't have a David Addison moment. You know, like I'm looking for that moment that I'm like, it's David Addison. Just a little bit, you know, no actor wants to give the fucking performance they've ever given before, but I'm looking for just a little moment where I can be like, I got direct for a moment David Addison and shit like that. And there was a moment where we were working on this sequence. And it was a scene between him and Tracy, and it's just a conversation where he has to get Tracy, kind of lend Tracy near. Tracy tells him something that's kind of painful, and Bruce has to kind of like say like, oh, I've been there, blah, 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 and shit like that. And be kind of a shoulder for him to cry on. And he did it, he did great. But there was just missing a little something. I was looking for a little something else and shit. So I'm sitting there watching every take, and we're about take 6, I think, like that. And I'm just kind of hoping it happens naturally. But it's not happened naturally. And I'm sitting there behind the monitor, and I'm like, fuck, if I was a man, I'd go over and ask for it. But I literally gave Willis my balls on day 2, so I can't fucking ask for it. I can't go over and he'll fucking yell at me again in front of everybody. What are you talking about? I'm like, God, I just let it go, let it go. And Michael Pitt, who was our AD, you know, at the end of every take, the AD will turn to the director and say, do you want to go again, or check the gate? Usually they just go, check the gate, and if you say yes, that means they check it and go do another take. If I say, we'll go one more, then obviously he's not checking the gate. So Michael Pitt, the AD, goes, after about the 6th take, he goes, what do you think, check the gate? Now, on every other movie, that's final. Essentially, the AD will go to me, check the gate, and I'll go like, yeah, or let's do one more. On this movie, though, early on, I learned that I couldn't do it by myself. I had a co-director on the picture at all times, and I would have to look to Bruce to see if we were done or not with takes. Particularly, you know, takes he was involved in, because I'd get what I wanted, but sometimes, you know, Bruce didn't get what he wanted yet and shit like that. So, you know, early on, I'd be like, all right, man, cut. Oh, that was awesome. And Michael would be like, check it. I was like, yeah, check it. One time where Bruce was like, oh. And I go, no? He goes, come here. And I was like, all right, hold on, everybody. I'm going to go talk to the director for a second. It's cute, right? He didn't think so. He goes, come here, Kevin, come here. Don't ever fucking say that. And I was like, I was just kidding around. He's like, that's not funny. I was like, everyone thinks I'm an asshole anyway. He's like, oh, they don't. I certainly do. So anyway, I'm watching this take. Michael Pitt goes, you want to check the gate? And I'm like, just do it, fucking do it, dude. Nut up, be Kevin Smith, that's what Kevin Smith would do. And I was like, yeah, I'm good, man, check it, we're moving on. And I was just sitting there in the chair thinking about it, and Adam Siegel's one of the producers, he's sitting next to me, he's like, you all right? And I was like, yeah, I think so. He's like, what's the matter? I was like, it was just something I was gonna go for, but you know what? Give me a second. Michael, we're going to go one more. Hold on one second. Let me talk to... So I go looking for Bruce. And Bruce is by the set, just leaning on the wall. Bruce Willis, cool, having a show and shit like that. So I sauntered up to him and I was like, hey, boss, how are you? Kevin. Yeah. I was like, can we go one more? And he goes, why? What happened? I was like, there's just something. He's going, something I didn't do. I was like, no, you were great. There's just something I was looking for that we haven't gotten yet. And I was really kind of hoping maybe we can get it. What is it? And I was like, I don't want to tell you, boss, because you're probably going to yell at me. He's going, I'm not going to yell at you. And I was like, I don't think you're going to be happy about it. He's going, just fucking say it. And I was like, all right, the moment where you're talking to Tracy and Tracy's telling you that he thinks his lady's cheating on him, and you're there for you say the stuff you say to him. I was kind of hoping, I was looking for a particular delivery on that line. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I would love for you to deliver it the way you delivered this one line in the season 2 of Moonlight. In the episode where Maddie thinks her dad is cheating on her mom, I think the episode was called Every Daughter's Father is a Virgin. Again, looking at me, looks away.